Welcome to Bobby Does Recaps. This is Interview with the Vampire, Season 1. All right, let's set the scene. New Orleans, 1910. Louis de Pointe du Lac is a black Creole man running brothels and gambling dens in Storyville. He's got money, connections, and enough hustle to make it work in a Jim Crow, Louisiana. Now, this might sound impossible for that time period, but there was a prominent class of wealthy black Creole men in New Orleans at that time. Absolutely fascinating history, but back to our story. Enter Lestat de Lioncourt, French, impeccably dressed, walks into every room like he owns the building, the block, and possibly your soul. He immediately fixates on Louis. Now, Louis is gay, but deeply closeted, because 1910. So, when this supernatural European man starts giving him attention, Louis is toast. He knows it's a terrible idea. He is correct, but the temptation is too great. They spend a good amount of time getting to know each other, and then one night, Lestat bites Louis' neck, and apparently it's a life-altering spiritual experience. And Louis freaks out a bit and decides, I must never see this man again. The correct call, but he absolutely does not follow through. Now, Louis' brother Paul has been getting visions from God, which sounds inspiring until the visions tell him to jump off a roof, which he does. Louis is wrecked. Their mother blames Louis because in this family, Louis is responsible for everything, even the weather. Lestat shows up to comfort a grieving Louis. Very sweet, very tender. Yeah, he murders multiple priests, just absolutely wipes out the entire church. I guess that's his version of flowers? Romantic. If you're a sociopath. He makes Louis an offer. Become a vampire. Leave all of this behind. And Louis, at his lowest point in his life, says yes. Lestat turns him. Boom. Done. Louis de Pointe du Lac is now immortal. The first of many decisions he will regret for centuries to come. Lestat tries to teach Louis how to hunt. Louis refuses. He feeds on animals instead. He feels guilty, constantly, all the time, about everything. Lestat watches Louis feel bad about feeding and is just baffled. It's like a shark trying to understand why his roommate won't eat fish. Now, we jump ahead 6 years. They're running a bar together. They're a couple, a nightmare of a couple in more ways than one. Lestat gets bored, takes a human girlfriend named Antoinette. Louis retaliates by sleeping with an old friend named Jonah. So if I'm not framing it well enough, this relationship has the structural integrity of wet paper. The relationship is horrible, but business-wise, everything's going great until a racist alderman named Fenwick starts running black business owners out of Storyville. He targets Louis directly, and Louis, who has been surgically patient his entire life, finally snaps. He murders Fenwick and hangs the body in public. No disguise, no cleanup, no hiding the body, just full send. And this prompts the white residents to burn the entire neighborhood to the ground. In the chaos, Louis hears a young girl's thoughts from inside a burning building. He runs in, saves her. Her name is Claudia. She's 14, badly burned, dying. Louis convinces Lestat to turn her, to save her life. So now they are raising a vampire teenager together. This is the decision they make. With little hesitation, these two idiots can barely keep themselves out of trouble, and now they have a hormonal teen daughter? This is an awesome recipe for disaster. Claudia is sharp, funny, and angrier than anyone has a right to be, which is fair because she is now permanently 14, forever. Her mind grows up, but her body doesn't. She can't look like an adult, can't be treated like one. It's honestly a horrifying existence, and the show doesn't stop reminding you. Along the way, she falls for a human named Charlie, gets a little too enthusiastic, accidentally kills him. Lestat then makes her watch while they burn the body. This guy's a true father of the year, right? Truly cruel, even for a vampire. Or is it par for the course? I'll let you decide. Now, here's where it gets wild. Claudia goes on a mass killing spree and dumps the bodies in the river. A storm washes them all up. The police nearly find the human parts that she's been collecting like a hobby. Just your totally typical New Orleans household. 2 vampires, 1 murder child, and some stored human body parts. Claudia eventually leaves to find her own way. She tries to make her own vampire companion because she's lonely, but she just can't quite figure out how to do it. She meets another vampire named Bruce, who does something to her that present-day Louis straight up refuses to describe. She's gone for a while, but all in all, her time on her own fails to satisfy her. When Claudia comes back, she's done. Done with Lestat, done with the dysfunction, done with all of it. It's super simple. She wants Louis, and she wants out. Lestat responds to this by beating Louis half to death, flying him up in the air, and dropping him from the sky. Then disappears out of shame. It's one of those, that escalated quickly. Lestat sends gifts for 6 years. Louis ignores every single one. And then, because Louis was born to make things hard on himself, he lets Lestat back in. They set rules. They try again. And for about 10 minutes, it looks promising. Then nothing changes, and Claudia decides it's time for a permanent solution. It's 1939, Mardi Gras, and Claudia has a plan. Step 1, throw a massive going-away party. Get Lestat crowned King of Mardi Gras. Now, this works because Lestat loves himself more than anything else, and the thought of being center stage, he can't ignore. Step 2, the trap. There's a boy sitting in a chair, and the plan, at least as far as we can see, is to get Lestat to feed on the drugged boy, weakening him enough for them to kill him. Simple, clean, done. Step 3, hope Lestat doesn't notice anything's wrong. Sounds like a pretty good plan, except Lestat has had Antoinette spying on them for weeks. She figures it out, bursts in, triumphant, points straight at Claudia and the boy. The jig is up. Lestat smirks. He thinks he's won. He has not won. Because Claudia knew about Antoinette the entire time and built her plan around her. The boy in the chair was never the real trap. He was the decoy. The real plan was Tom Anderson, Lestat's longtime nemesis, who Claudia had already poisoned earlier in the party, and Lestat had already fed on Anderson earlier that night. The poison is already in him. Lestat starts choking, collapsing. Claudia drives a fireplace poker through Antoinette before she can recover from the shock. Louis slits Lestat's throat while cradling him, because these two cannot stop being emotionally complicated even during an assassination. Claudia dips a pen in Lestat's neck wound and records his last words in his own blood. Creepy. They wrap Lestat in a carpet, leave him on the curb for the trash, steal a ship full of coffins, and set sail to Europe. They are free. Finally, the nightmare is over. Except journalist Daniel Malloy, watching all of this from 2022, makes a very uncomfortable observation. Exsanguination alone does not kill vampires, and Louis admitted he didn't burn the body. They sent Lestat to a dump full of rats. The same rats Louis lived on for years, which means Lestat is almost certainly not dead. He's definitely coming back. And then, if this isn't crazy enough, the whole season, Louis' mysterious servant, Rashid, has been quietly in the background, almost invisible, until now. Malloy watches him float into the air, pull a book off a shelf, and drop it at his feet. Then Louis says,
"The vampire Armand. The love of my life."
What?
The quiet servant guy was a 500-year-old vampire the entire time, just standing there, being helpful, fetching things, standing in the sun. I have so many questions. But that's where Interview with the Vampire Season 1 comes to an end. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to recapping another show for you very soon.